Hi, Eli. Thank you for having the time to talk to us.
Hi, nice to meet you, Lucy.
So, first of all, anytime you do a death, it needs to be like a classic kill. So, I wanted to know, how do you work on these deaths in particular to make them so creative and unique and special?
Well, my co-writer Jeff Rendell and I, we sit there and we'll think about it and we'll talk about it, and certain things we have to plan, but then other things, an idea will pop in our head and we'll just see it like, oh, we're gonna roast someone in an oven, like a human turkey, and then we went with Milan, who's my DP on Hostel. We went to the location and we were walking around thinking where she's hiding from him, and then we saw a pitchfork and we thought, oh, he's got to grab the pitchfork, and then he'll have the pitchfork looking at her, and then she can hide, and the pitchfork can. So you sort of know where you're going to end up, and sometimes you need that in between of how you're going to get there, and that's sort of, you just walk around the set, and we think of like, what's the worst thing we can do to someone in this particular space.
I love it. Actually, when I left the movie, there were deaths that were like sticking in my head.
Oh,
I couldn't
good.
just stop thinking about it.
Good.
So that's a really
Yeah, that's a good sign.
I wanted to know, in your case, what was a death that you saw in a movie that you couldn't stop thinking about it for a really long time, like me with Thanksgiving?
Oh, well, there's a movie called The Vanishing. The end of that movie. That movie just really upset me. It's one of the movies that made me want to make Hostel. And there was an Achilles slit in Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Park Chan-wook, that made me want to do that in a Hostel. So, but that end of The Vanishing was so disturbing. I couldn't get over it. It was too much. Or the end of Audition, but The Vanishing in particular.
I used to love this town. Until what happened that night.
I know you dreamt of doing a slasher movie before, like Scream, Halloween, etc., etc. And the town is always really important to this scenario. And this town actually exists. I was kind of Googling and just checking that out. So I kind of wanted to know, where were your ideas on choosing this particular scenario?
Well, Plymouth is where the Pilgrims landed. It's where America, the birthplace, was. And I grew up, half an hour from there. So as a kid, you're going to school groups there. They have recreation villages. So it's really drummed into you as a kid in Massachusetts in school of the importance of this. And I'm always thinking, well, what if you could, have a killer rampaging through the town? So Jeff, the writer, went, and all the stuff with the Cordage Museum, the underground tunnels, it's all real. Cordage Park, we based it on a real time, and we went there. And we walked around the town, and we were going to try and shoot there at one point. Then the pandemic happened, and we restarted. And then we found a town called Port Perry, where I had shot the pilot of Hemlock Grove. And it actually looks like a very good double for Plymouth. It looks exactly the same. And Plymouth isn't such a known city that, like New York City, people would know the difference. So we thought Port Perry will be like a perfect double for Plymouth.
And it really is. And to wrap up, I know that you mentioned in an interview that you were creating, or you would like to create, the Thanksgivingers, or are we calling it that? The Thanksgivingers?
John Carver verse, Thanksgiving verse, whatever it is, yes.
Right? It kind of has like a franchise smell to it.
John Carver, whatever it is.
I like it. I like the Thanksgivinger. So I kind of wanted to know if you would be interested in just making it a franchise, because I kind of wanted to see more movies.
Oh, I do definitely. We love it. I mean, look, it's up to the public. The public will 100% determine if there are more movies, but it is something that, if I spent the rest of my life making Thanksgiving, and we talk about, what if we did it in 1980? What if we did, you're like, we have so many ideas for what we could do with it. And it's just an excuse to have a bunch of amazing kills. But I would love to. It's so much fun. I had the time of my life. I love my cast. I'm really happy with the movie, with how it turned out. And I'd love to keep going, but that's up to you guys.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Eli, for your time, and hope to see you in another jacket.
Definitely. Bye. Ciao.